it's a weird gotcha comedy police time. I got another message on Instagram yesterday telling me that Bert Kreischer is stealing my material. Guys, 1000% Bert Kreischer is not stealing. I don't even know the joke that the person is talking about. 1000% Bert Kreischer is not stealing my material. Somebody has sent me that before, and I took a look into it, and I was like, guys, it was a similar situation. And it was a unique situation, but similar. But guess what? It's like somebody sent me once, Chad Daniels stealing your material, and they sent me a link. And it was a story about Chad finding porn on his son's computer. Guys, we are parents with kids. If you are a parent with a teenage son and you're looking on his computer, you know what you're going to find? 1,000% porn. 1,000% chance. And if you're a comic who talks about your kids, you're going to talk about it. And probably, and I didn't watch the whole Chad's bit, but I bet you his son denied it a little bit, just like mine did. Because they're teenage boys who aren't going to be like, yeah, I'm jerking off to porn on the computer. That's not the answer they're going to get. That's not the joke, right? With Bert, similar. I would tell you this about, and one of the reasons I never really watched his material. By the way, Bert does not need to steal material from me. He's wildly successful, right? He doesn't need to be. But one of the reasons I never watched Bert is because if you just replaced weed with booze, we're not that far off. We try to have our fans and the people coming to our show have the same kind of party, fun atmosphere. We both overindulge. We're both over consumers of life and things. And we both raise kids. So I never, I'll tell you something crazy. Like I had an idea a long time ago because of my daughter. I was like, I'm going to write a script about a girl getting her period late and having a period party for her. And then before I even said it out loud anywhere, before I was like, hadn't even pen to paper, I heard a story very similar. Somebody had sent me a clip. They were like, did this happen with your daughter? And I was like, well, I'm not going to write that fucking script. We are fathers and comics who raise kids. There's going to be similar situations. What is funny to me and why it's different than it's ever been is, look, man, I bet you in the 70s and 80s, comics touched on similar stuff all the time. But there wasn't a history of it that you could click on and watch hours of material and be like, oh, this guy's material. Yo, that joke about Trump wants to build a wall to keep Mexicans out, but guess who's building the wall? I bet you there's been 7,000 different iterations of that joke because it's right there. The joke is easy. It's right there. I'm sure. And I'm sure people aren't stealing it from each other. It's just an easy premise. It's you know what? Look, man, I had a clip on here from the podcast that I was doing with Jake when Jacob was here, where I was explaining to him that gay never meant gay, right? Because in my day, it didn't. And the best way for me to explain it to him was just that. It never meant gay. It just meant gay, right? And so I posted it. It's got like so many views. Thank you all so much. But I don't usually take a look at the comments, and I started to look through them, and people arguing was funny, and I commented on a couple of them just to rile people up some people who were like, that is offensive. You guys are so offensive to gay people. And my response to them was just, that's kind of gay. Just to rile people up. But then I saw some that said, South Park did this better. Or in some that said, Louis talked about this 15 years ago. And accusing me of taking it from one of them. Which means you would also have to accuse one of them from taking it from the other one. So either Louis stole it from South Park or South Park stole it from Louis. Or we're all men from a certain generation who are comedy people. And that's the simplest way to explain it. That just gay never meant gay. It just meant gay. You know? And so like I'm so curious by the gotcha generation, and we don't show each other any grace. And everything right now is so black and white. Offensive, not offensive. Right? This is offensive. Oh, is it? That word makes one word makes everything offensive without intent, with not taking into account the rest of the set, with not taking into account the person who's delivering it or how they're trying to get everyone to laugh, right? Just offensive. You've heard something similar to this, so it's stolen. It's not that people in art have run across similar things, might have similar ideas or similar experiences, so they have similar topics, jokes, whatever. You know what I mean? There's no people, we're not showing each other any grace, where it's just like this weird time where there's you're fucking right or you're fucking wrong. You know? And it's a bummer. It's a bummer that we're not just like, hey, this is art, man. Or hey, this not for me. Or hey, I didn't like this part, but this doesn't mean you walk out of a show middle fingers up. Fuck you. You don't know what those people go through. Yeah, okay. We gotta be smarter, or show more people grace, or allow other ideas to infiltrate our brains, or be like, I like this part and I don't like that part. But I it's why I'm going to start. Oh, dude, and I watched the Elvis documentary and the Elvis 68 special. And between Joey Diaz and the talk I had with him after his set and the Elvis 68 special, it reminded me just to do what I think is funny and to do it in the way that I like to do it. That's it, man. What I was going to say about Joe, one of the things that I liked the most about him, if he knew I was talking about him, he would hate that. He'll never hear this because he doesn't listen to this podcast. And he's not online and watching clips because he has other things to do. But I think he's uncomfortable that everybody comes out of the room and watches him. It's one of the things, there's a lot, you know, I've known him a long time, but morally, this is going to sound weird. You know, he's got a compass. You know, he could have been out on the road these last 4 years. He hasn't been on stage making millions of dollars. He said no to 1,000 gigs and he's turned them all down, and he's going back out now and trying new stuff. But like, yeah, dude, I feel more me. I'm going to try some jokes tonight at my residency at Kimmel's that I think some people, there's no other way but to do it, man. And I'm still going to try to put them all into story form because that's how I like to deliver jokes. Hey, if you like this podcast you just watched, you're going to love the one I'm popping up in your face right now. Check it out.